It's Friday the 13th of October 2023, and the DJ and producer Heanor is finishing up their set at Grin's latest packed-out club night Blood Ritual. As their set concludes, the headphones are exchanged with a DJ who will be playing his first ever set in London in over a year, having dropped an EP, 4 singles, and embarked on a tour of China, as well as a festival set in Prague in the lead up to this. It had been a busy year away for the DJ and producer Pholo, but how exactly did he get here?
Internet shopping may be one of the reasons why our high streets are suffering, but here in Heanor, ironically, they've turned to the internet.
Nathan Dalton was born on November 7th, 1996, and grew up in the small Derbyshire town of Heanor in the UK, famous for its former coal mining industry, being a stop on the world's longest tramway, which is now memorialised as a pint, and home to Heanor Town FC, which boasts former players such as Nigel Clough, who went on to play for Premier League clubs such as Nottingham Forest, Liverpool and Manchester City, as well as Nigel Pearson, who would go on to play for Sheffield Wednesday FC and lead the club to winning the League Cup final against Manchester United in 1991. Growing up, Nathan would spend a large amount of his time playing classic video games on the PlayStation 2, but a lot of his younger years were also spent playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox 360. Participating in trickshot battles with his online clan Resin as RZ Opposer, and maxing out his prestige, titles and emblems whilst also doing so, making consistent references to the game on his social media. When discussing the charm of Modern Warfare 2 with him, Pholo stated, "That game just is me." He would also be surrounded by a variety of 80s pop and jazz music played by his parents growing up, listening to artists such as Gary Newman, George Benson, and David Bowie. As well as a variety of classic 90s trance played by his dad. While this would stay with him during his formative years, producing under the name Pholo wouldn't be his first foray into music production, instead choosing to start off producing house music at 15 as Nathan Dalton. Nathan would start producing at the age of 15, after feeling inspired to produce music of his own, and equipped with nothing but Cubase, Ableton, and YouTube tutorials on his laptop. Nathan would begin releasing a variety of house music to the internet, continuing to produce and release online, until eventually catching the attention of music A&R Aaron Ross at the age of 16. Ross having experience prior working as a manager at Virgin Records, Defected Records, and BBC Radio 1 Extra, with a total of 15 years experience in the music industry under his belt at the time. Ross was looking to personally manage the young producer alongside fellow house DJ and producer Jonas Blue on his talent label Infinite Future Management, which presented as a huge opportunity for Nathan. With the help of Ross's management, Nathan would begin getting placements on BBC Radio 1 Extra, eventually leading to being signed to Mark Radford's house label Audio Rehab at 17, releasing his debut EP ND1 at the end of April 2014. Booked and denied entry to London superclub Ministry of Sound in August that year with his parents, as he was too young to enter, producing a hit remix of house producer duo Disclosure's single When a Fire Starts to Burn, when a fire starts to a debut on Rinse FM with his label boss just 2 days before he turned 18, and being booked again at Ministry of Sound and allowed entry by the end of November, ending the year with a feature on a CD sold in British music retailer HMV just in time for Christmas. It was a hell of a year for young Nathan, and he was optimistic for the start of 2015, and whatever else was to follow. However, the years following would start to become rocky for him, as along with his producing and DJ career, he was also juggling college and a changing taste in music. Nathan would begin listening to a variety of new artists, such as Yung Lean, Corbin, and Darko, on top of a gradual change in taste and sound, which would begin conflicting with the direction he wanted to go in, along with the direction his manager had desired for him, leading to them eventually parting ways on New Year's Day 2017. 2017 was off to a rough start for Nathan Dalton, unsure of what the future had in hold for him now that his manager had parted ways. While he'd still carry his house project on until 2019, Nathan would announce the start to his next project alongside it on January 4th, 2017, unearthing a project which he had kept to himself until now, that being Pholo. Pholo was created by Nathan after finding inspiration from the likes of Darko, MssingNo, and Evian Christ, blending a mixture of grime, trap, and northern bassline sounds inspired by the likes of Sheffield's niche nightclub, along with DJs and producers such as T2 and Flavor D. A more regional sound that the Derbyshire native felt more passionate about than producing house music. Within 5 days of the new project's announcement on Facebook and Instagram, Pholo's debut single would be released to SoundCloud, titled Care. Followed up with What I've Got the next month. Around this time, Pholo would also begin releasing tracks with the underground record label Liquid Ritual, an underground electronic music label based in the UK, with its founder, Careful, having his fingers on the pulse for what was next to blow up. With Liquid Ritual's first major break be having label signee Dysphoria produce a track for the upcoming emo rap stars Bexey and Lil Peep. This direct line of contact would allow Liquid Ritual to book Bexey on June 20th, 2017 for their label launch party. Bexey would also bring Peep as a surprise guest to perform, and Pholo would have the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to DJ for them.
No one's heard this shit. Everyone's getting it, man. This is the last song, man.
She a night slayer, razor, a lap in a Gucci blazer. She got cocaine up on a septum ring, it don't face her. Touchdown.
New faces, overseas abroad blue faces, suitcases, shoe pace, my gold grills got a mind racing.
Ending the year happier than he was at the beginning of it, Pholo would be a fresh start and an even bigger jumping off point for Nathan, and 2018 would have even more in store for him.
Not the right head top for this one, bruh. Alright, let's go take over fucking Poland then, yeah?
I'm going to take a picture of that, actually. Wait, we've got to wait for one more.
Is there more?
Liquid Ritual would kick off the year with a 2-day tour of Warsaw and Białystok, Poland in January, making this Pholo's first international debut, doing a back-to-back DJ set alongside Careful for both dates of the tour, dropping his first of many SoundCloud edits to be spun on decks and mixes the following month, which sampled the Migos' 2017 track, T-Shirt, 2 shows with Liquid Ritual at Birthdays Dalton in the spring and one in the summer, along with a placement on the label's first self-titled mixtape with fellow producer Facine titled Bugatti Blues in late April. By the autumn, Pholo would release 3 more singles, those being Nothing, Boy, and Vagabond, featuring rapper Peter Zan, and an edit of Fergie's 2006 track, Glamorous. 2019 would be a little quieter in terms of shows, but nonetheless would kick off with the release of Pholo's next single, Lovin' Me, which sampled R&B artist Ashanti's 2003 track, Rock With You.
Oh baby, when you're kissing me, oh baby, when you're loving me. I can't decide what I want to do for you tonight. Oh baby, when you're oh baby, when you're.
The single would receive a limited vinyl release online and in various branches of the music retail shop Rough Trade across the UK at the end of the year, repackaged as a 4-track EP, which consisted of the title track, XYZ, featuring producer Rapture 4D, Cry, and Take. Pholo would also release 4 other tracks and an EP with Vicine on the indie label Stolen Noise. Guess who just fell down some stairs, boy?
Yes, can. Fucking represent excellent hot jalapenos. What more can I know the fucking ask for, can?
So I may be off work for the next 2 weeks due to the crisis, so I've uploaded all my unreleased bits to my Bandcamp. This is something I should have done a while ago, but here you go, every bit helps.
As we all know, most of the UK population and the rest of the world were stuck indoors due to the COVID-19 lockdown. While some in the UK were busy taking their government-mandated walks and clapping for the NHS, Pholo would be busy producing and releasing a total of 6 singles and 3 remixes across the year, with remixes including classics such as Darko's 2019 single with Adult Swim, City of Tears, into How I'm Feeling Now Summer with a remix of Charlie XCX's 2020 single Claws, and cooling off into the winter that year with a flip of Nelly Furtado's 2006 track, Say It Right. All 3 remixes becoming hits amongst DJs to feature in SoundCloud mixes of their own. Mine included, whether it was during lockdown, on live streams, or at live sets across the globe. Edits, remixes, and flips such as these would become a key component to how a lot of people discovered Pholo's music, myself included. Pholo would also establish Spider Circle this year, in partnership with animator and designer Jordan Chappell. The two would meet the year prior online, as Jordan was commissioned to design the cover for Lovin' Me at the start of the year, and then Ava Akira's 2019 single, Pain, featuring Pholo in June. Nathan and Chappell would continue to converse online over the course of 2019, helping each other find work and form Spider Circle the following year as a clique, concluding that the pair worked best together as a duo, and thus Spider Circle was born.
Recently moved to Big Smoke to take over the world with his production, and I must say, big character, even bigger music, and for the next 50 minutes you're gonna have Pholo.
2021 would be a key year in Pholo's career, dropping a total of 13 singles and an edit over the course of the year, along with 2 radio remixes. One for Trickstar Radio in Brighton in partnership with Escape Records in March, followed up by a guest mix on experimental producer Machine Woman's Rinse FM radio show in July. But Pholo's biggest breakthrough that year would be made in the autumn of 2021. Starting off with the release of his single Cold Courts on October 15, 2021, a track inspired by Dalton's Northern Roots, leaving no room for interpretation that it wasn't a true bassline track at heart. making clear reference to its inspiration by making reference to the logo of the Sheffield nightclub Niche, the club that would pioneer northern bassline throughout the 90s and into the early 2000s, and inspire future generations of producers and DJs to continue to keep the genre alive to their heart's content. Cold Quartz would be repackaged as a 2-track EP 2 weeks after its original release, with the title track and DE75, the postcode for Heanor, further cementing Pholo's love for the British Midlands and North. Cold Quartz would also catch the attention of 2 artists in particular, after one of them had stumbled across it online, leading them to take great interest in working with Pholo in the years to come. First showing their love to a sold-out night on Halloween Eve at Exchange, Bristol, when producer Igloo Ghost would decide to drop the track to an electric crowd. Pholo would be sent a video of this and give his thanks to Igloo Ghost on Twitter 2 days later, getting into contact with both him and singer BABii that same day. BABii would take great interest in wanting to work with Pholo. Being from Yorkshire herself, which borders Derbyshire, she felt they could relate creatively. When I asked her about this, she stated, "I think there is a certain atmosphere in the north of England that you can only catch if you ever lived there for a long period of time, and I think it's really reflected in Pholo's music. And that's why I resonate with it so much. It's nostalgic and often plays on these genres of music that originated in the north. But it's not just derivative, it's like coming from a place of introspection rather than imitation. I think that's the feeling we are both trying to capture all the time, which is probably the biggest thing we have in common musically." BABii and Pholo would continue communicating online, sending ideas and music back and forth until a single was developed and completed, releasing Ember on February 9th, 2022, the first single off of BABii's 4th album, Screamer, which was to be released later that summer. Screamer would be released on July 27th, 2022, and receive wide acclaim from fans and critics alike online for its heavy bass lines, story-like structure, and for blending a new style of electro-pop music that many didn't know they needed. Pholo would have an additional 2 placements on the album, the first being Nectar Pholo V5, which blended an airy ambient intro into a heavy wall of bassline, which can often be physically felt in any club setting, followed up by Butterfly 11 plus Psyche, two songs stitched into one, with the latter receiving an extended release on the Screamer bonus disc, along with a drum and bass edit of Ember. Nectar would also receive a music video at the end of the year, filmed in the Kentish seaside town of Margate, accompanied by a dance troupe and orcs scrapping in a pub. Pholo would also join BABii on Rinse FM on October 4th, 2022, for a joint mix titled Midnight on the M25, a mix dedicated to what they listened to when driving on the London Ring Road, which once served as the Silk Road for ravers in the 1990s. It had been a huge leap forward this year for Pholo, even finding time to release his own music when he could, including a handful of singles and his accessory EP. But 2023 would have even more in store for him, and take him across the world to bring bassline to the masses. "2023 would be a huge breakthrough for Pholo as he embarked on a 4-city tour of China in April, playing in Beijing, Dalian, Shanghai, and Hangzhou, marking the start to Nathan's stint as Derbyshire's Mr. Worldwide, followed up by a set at nearby Rave Festival in Prague, Czech Republic, alongside BABii in August, to then returning to London for Grin in October, and then flying across the pond to Los Angeles the following week. Also finding the time in 2023 to release 3 singles, an EP, a radio mix for Shanghai-based label and club night Gully Riddim, and an edit of T2's cult classic bassline track, Heartbroken. Amongst a very hectic schedule in 2023, what exactly is Pholo up to in the year 2024? Well, Pholo has been going harder than ever this year, dropping 4 singles under Pholo, 2 under his alias DJ Dolly, 3 edits, a return to Rinse FM with Machine Woman, an EP with Team Sesh signee HNRK, and an additional solo EP slated for release this year, shows across London, Nottingham and York, and a return to the studio for BABii's upcoming album, Daredevil 2000, producing both lead singles Joyride and Scarface, alongside Igloo Ghost and Warpster, which have also received airplay on BBC Radio 1 this summer.
Song on this called Joyride on Radio 1. And if she's new to you, if you've fallen in love with her, let me know. WhatsApp me on 03700 100 100. Always value.
Across his 12-year career, Nathan Dalton, aka Pholo, has shown that no matter the odds, where or who you are, you can achieve your aspirations if you keep pushing forward and never give up. From worrying that he was at the end of the line after splitting with his manager, to persevering and having his edits streamed and blasted at pre's, club nights, and afters across the globe, playing across 3 continents, and producing for and working with some of electronic music's greatest rising talents. They say it takes pressure to turn a piece of coal into a diamond, and while Heanor Town's almond coal mine may have shut down in September 1970, the town had enough time to produce one years later, taking on the pressures of the music industry at an early age, to having it mastered by 2024. Nathan Dalton has certainly earned his right to shine on as Pholo.